They're talking about a suspect that they have picked up in this January 6th device,
Hmm.
pipe bomb incident that happened on January 6th near the Capitol. It's weird timing, but and 5 years in the making.
Yeah, looks like Kash Patel finally had the competence to get this done. I trust this administration fully.
You- what I hear though is that this may be good actually for. I heard some reporters say it may be good for Dan Bongino because he's been saying that they needed to reopen this case or look at the evidence again in this case. So
Yeah,
look, if they caught someone good, then that's great. I tend to think about a lot of their stuff is distraction to me, and I'm wondering if they're distracting from Venezuela. But in this, you remember one of the suspects, well, not the suspects, but people were
yeah.
saying that looks like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah. Well, which would be hilarious given the retire. Like, what if all of a sudden we realize that's what connected all the dots? I'm just asking questions. We don't know for sure uh who the suspect is, but yeah, I mean that would be pretty hilarious if that ended up being the result. But I mean, it's probably just some random person that was radicalized by Trump himself, as usual. Just another right wing nut job, most likely. But we'll see.
Yeah, look, I say whether it's right wing, left wing, or just you know, middle wing or whatever, it's still
Yeah, yeah.
someone who is susceptible to all of this language that encourages political violence. And Donald Trump has certainly been, my word that I've been saying is the imprimatur of that. He's been the one who normalized it and actually profiled it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that's what we're seeing across the board. I mean, even with this suspect with the National Guard, like it's just these are individuals who are being radicalized. Like it's a bigger problem, like you're saying. I'm glad you brought it beyond just like left or right. It's this normalization of violence, this online extremism, this radicalization pipeline people go down, and then they take action. And again, it's these individuals. We don't need to punish the entire groups of people, right? Like if this pipe bomber ends up being a white person, I'm sure Trump's not going to say we should deport all white people and they should be gone like he's doing to the Somalis or the Afghans, right? So point is like it's these individual cases that need to be taken seriously. So I'm interested to see who it is, to be honest. But you're right. I do think it's just one of those things where the timing is weird because right now, kind of a lot of other major scandals going on, like one of the biggest scandals of his administration happening right now with the Hegseth stuff, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, can we talk about Pete Hegseth and let's not talk about where people were like, well, there needs to be an investigation. Okay, yes, there needs to be an investigation, but Pete Hegseth is incompetent. He
Yes.
shouldn't have been there in the first place, especially with his history. And it's not an open secret. It's not even a secret. People just knew, and they know that he's incompetent. The only reason that he's there is because he is flawed. He is tainted. Also, Donald Trump thinks that he would be good for recruitment, but Pete Hegseth doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and it's showing right now. The excuses that he's making for this strike on this Venezuelan boat, they don't make sense. Oh, it's really important. But I didn't stay for the second part. Of course, I
Yeah.
knew what was going on, but it was
Sure.
really the admiral's decision. It's like, what are you saying? And then Donald Trump saying, well, I'm relying on what Pete says and I'm listening to him and I believe him. But it's like, so you don't know as a commander in chief and you have nerve to talk about Joe Biden and an auto pin and
Right?
cognitive decline and you don't know what's going on and you're falling asleep in cabinet meetings? I'm done. All right. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. No, I'm kidding.
No, yeah. I mean, like it just doesn't add up. Like he's apparently this commander in chief that's in charge, but he was not in the room or had any knowledge of the first of what would go on to be ongoing strikes in this fake war, right? If you're declaring this new war, wouldn't you, the commander in chief, want to be in the room? And also, Hegseth saying after that first strike, he was like, "Okay, peace out," and then just sprinted out the room. Like there's a
Yeah.
time gap there where it's like you would need to do that follow-on strike pretty quickly, and it's just interesting to watch them completely throw Admiral Bradley under the bus. And again, it goes back to that Senate Democrat video where they talked about trying to urge military not to follow unlawful orders, because if you do, this administration will clearly throw you under the bus. And I think right now what we're seeing is, right now we're looking at the difference between whether or not he was the one that gave the initial kill everybody order or not, or whether or not he was present for that second strike. But I think we got to take a step back and recognize that the strikes generally, the first one itself, all of them are unlawful within themselves, right? Like they're all under question. They're all extrajudicial killings. You have that same view. Like these strikes on these boats, we don't have the proof that they're drug smugglers. They're not combatants because we're not actively at war. There's no war declaration. So the strikes themselves, right? They're pretty dubious as is.
Well, it's dubious as is. The thing is that they're going to they try to, what do you call it? Reverse engineer
Yes.
the reason for the first strike, that we're at war. And then it's like, well, there's no declaration of war,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you can only do this when you're at war. And then they try to declare war or whatever, but we're not really at war. Okay. So that one obviously is not good. But
Mm-hmm.
then after that, then the second strike, we got word of a second strike. There is no justification for the second strike, no matter what. You hear members of the military, you have Republican congressmen now saying this. I don't know if you saw the information that came out. Jim Himes
Mm-hmm.
told reporters that this is one of the worst things that he's ever seen
Yeah.
in his public life as a public servant. There's no justification for the second strike. It is a war crime. Yes,
Yes.
it should be investigated. And while it's being investigated, get rid of fucking Pete Hegseth. He's
Yeah.
terrible.
No, he's horrible. He's a deeply unserious person in a really serious role that should not be there. Like you said, he's fully incompetent. And that second strike was not justified. And what we're seeing is even Rand Paul. Did you see his little speech he kind of gave? Well, not
Yeah, I
speech, but
did.
remarks to reporters. Yeah, where he's like saying that there's no justification for this. It clearly is unlawful. And then he also said the first strike itself too is likely legally dubious too. And then all of these strikes, again, like they're doing this fake war declaration. They're trying to retroactively justify it. And then I'm also seeing reporting that you know, the the military lawyers were not involved. And like remember at the beginning of near close to the beginning of the administration, Hegseth fired a bunch of the JAGs, fired a bunch of these like higher level military lawyers. So he went in here preparing for an unlawful situation. You give this guy an inch and then they took a mile, goes in there, tries to act all tough. I believe the reporting that he said kill everybody. They're trying to deny it. I don't know whether or not they've convinced Admiral Bradley. I don't know what he said to Congress or whether he's willing to be scapegoated fully for it. But that kind of order doesn't come. I don't think Admiral Bradley decided on his own he needed to kill those survivors. That man knows that that was a textbook war crime, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you hit the like, the thumbs up, the heart, no matter what platform that you are watching us on, because it does affect the algorithm and more people become aware of our conversation in our channel. So follow Ahmed Baba on Substack and on any of his social media platforms. Same thing for Don Lemon and the Don Lemon Show. So as far as the Admiral will try to justify it. He'll say that that the men in, and if he hasn't said it already, as we're taping this, he hasn't spoken. Um, but I think that he will say that that it is justified. I know he's going to say that, and that the men who were still in the water, even though they were clinging to life, were still a threat, and they were still trying to carry out their mission. That's
Yeah.
what will happen.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing early reports from the briefing that's saying that that's what he's kind of framing it
That's
as.
what he's saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what he's framing it as. And like they're not how in any reality were these boats that were thousands of miles away from the US, these people who are clinging to a broken boat in any way a threat.
yeah,
That alone is inexcusable. And then on top of that, they have still yet to give us any proof of the drugs. Where is the
yeah.
smuggling operation? What are the names of these people? Are these kingpins? Who are these people that are being murdered?
Ahmed, do you know who they could have gotten that information from?
The people,
The
the
two people
survivors.
who were on the boat that survived. If they had gone and detained them, rescued them, detained them, and gotten the information that they needed, where they wouldn't have to perhaps they wouldn't have to make random strikes on boats in national or international water or whatever it is. But so none of it makes sense.
No, it doesn't
That's
make
the
any
whole
sense.
thing.
Sir, sounds like
And
they have bad
any
intel.
yeah, but in any other day and age or any other administration, the defense secretary would be gone, the admiral probably would be gone, and maybe the president would be driven out of office. But not now, because
Yeah.
all of these people who are basically criminals I mean, Donald Trump, and by the way, he's trying to get that reversed, right? He's trying to
Yeah,
get his whole criminal thing reversed.
of course.
But by any account, are acting like criminals, they're being protected.
Yeah, they are being protected. And I see a comment in here from Kathleen Hamlin mentioning a widow of one
The
of the
widow,
Colombian
yeah.
men is suing the White House, which, yeah, we've seen that too. Also, if you're in here, yeah, definitely comment. We're reading. We'll talk to y'all. Hit the like button so it spreads to more people. But yes, a Colombian family is suing. And this is where they get into trouble. The lawlessness is so overt. These lawsuits are going to pile up. These are human beings that they're murdering. These are people with families, and that we're going to find out who these people are. We are already through lawsuits, now through these investigations, hopefully in Congress. I mean, it sounds like the Republicans are probably not going to take it too much further, but I hope in 2026 Democrats would. We're going to find out who these people are, and it's blatantly illegal what they're doing. It is a war crime, and there again. Like Hegseth does not have presidential immunity, right? Of course, Trump could try to blanket pardon him later, but there's international law. There's all these there's other countries that could charge some of these people. I mean, this is something where they keep once again being so blatant and overt in the corruption that it goes beyond the bounds of what's defensible. And I think they're in some deep shit here. This is not just like, breaking norms or whatever. This is murdering people,
Hmm.
with taxpayer dollars and the US military committing war crimes, doing what when the Germans did this in World War II to American soldiers, they were held accountable for it. You don't just
Yeah.
murder survivors, right?
Pam Bondi was, I guess, updating the public on this pipe bomb suspect who is in custody now. And she was asked, according to the Washington Post, lawmakers asked Bondi for update on Epstein files as deadline is. Okay, so the lawmakers asked her, scratch what I said about but she is updating folks on that. Um, so a bipartisan group of lawmakers asked Attorney General Pam Bondi on Wednesday to update
Mm-hmm.
them this week on the Justice Department's progress on releasing files related to Jeffrey Epstein. President signed the law. Uh, no response from her so far. And I guess they didn't hear back from us. Democrats said after the law passed, they believe the administration would find excuses to avoid releasing the files. They will likely say that releasing information will compromise ongoing investigations, maybe investigations that they will start in order to make that argument.
Yep.
That's what Jeff Merkley, senator, said. But so far, no response from Pam Bondi
No
on
response. And
releasing the Epstein files.
it was a bipartisan group. It was I
Right.
think Murkowski was among them, asking her. Yeah. And
You
no response.
you think you'll ever see those files? I think that they're going to make an excuse. I don't think we'll ever see. I think we'll see some of it, and I'm gonna interview Robert Garcia, who is head of oversight.
Yeah.
In just moments, as a matter of fact, and I think I think he believes that they're going to see some of it, but I don't know. I'm going to ask him if
Yeah.
we'll ever see. I
And
don't believe that we will.
and ask him what the recourse would be and what they're planning to do to force them to, because I saw Ro Khanna was talking about how they are going to sue, right? They're saying they're going to, like, they would be violating the law, and then they would do all these different maneuvers to try to further pressure them, right? And I think you're right, though. I think we're going to see probably some of it. I'm just worrying. Like, we did literally one of our lives was 30 minutes of us just talking about whether or not they would release it. And I think they might be selective. We might see a lot more damning info about Dems, maybe. I mean, this is the Trump administration. They're literally murdering people in the Caribbean. Like, I don't think,
And
I
getting
don't put
away
anything
with it.
past, I don't put anything past them. So yeah, I think we're going to see some of the files, but I worry we're not going to see all of them in the first tranche. I think it's going to take additional pressuring to get them to send more out.
Speaking of Epstein, did you see the photographs that the Democratic Congress people released and the videos from Epstein Island?
Yeah, yeah, it's eerie.
Is it a little creepy?
It
It,
looked a little creepy, it looked a little horror filmy. Like, it wasn't like it was eerie, man.
I think it looks. I'll tell you why it looks horror filmy. It looks horror filmy because nobody's there. It's desolate. The furniture's not there. There's no like lounge chairs with umbrellas by the pool.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was on an overcast day and everything was shuttered. Like all of the doors and windows were closed. And so if you open that up, but I mean, look, if you open it up, it would look better. But there is a creepy, eerie feel about it. Even the rooms, if you look at the rooms, right?
yeah.
It's dark and antiseptic and
Hmm.
stark,
Yeah, and you
you know?
can like it's like you can like you know there was abuse there too, compounding the visual. So you just disgusting things have happened in these rooms. It's really it's like it's haunting. Like
How is Donald Trump still in office, Ahmed? Even because even with all of his connections, like, do we really need the Epstein files to be released anymore? Like, the information that's already out there is enough for him not to be in office. He had an association with the most prolific sex trafficker in modern history.
it's just I ask myself that every day. Why is Donald Trump still in office, man? It's unbelievable. Like the different connections are unreal. We've already talked about it. We've dissected all of the different connections. Jeffrey Epstein's claims about him knowing about the girls, the trafficking of some of the women that came from Mar-a-Lago into Epstein's, care or not care, but like abuse, like Virginia Giuffre, all these women. I don't know, man. I think they would have impeached a Democrat for much less. I
You
think that
know,
I do know they would have
there's some privilege.
100%.
There's a lot of privilege
Oh,
going on.
yeah, there's a lot of privilege, and then it's just like compounding this with everything else that he's doing. It's just a whirlpool of it's the most corrupt presidency in history. It's just so much going on, like week after week, presidency eroding scandal, 50,000 Watergates. The Signalgate report dropped
Yes.
yesterday.
What did it say? It compromised our troops'
Yeah,
safety.
compromise our troop safety because if Jeffrey Goldberg was some some spy, right? It could have been anyone else that was in that chat instead of him, instead of a journalist. Those troops would have been fucked. They could have been totally targeted based off that intel.
And what came out of that? But Pete Hegseth was fired after that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was totally fired, held accountable, and he was prosecuted, and everything was well. Um,
They got it. They got mad at Lloyd Austin for not notifying them
oh
in
God.
time for when he went to the hospital or doctor, and nothing
Oh my
happened.
God, you're
There was
right.
nothing was compromised. You remember that? He's like, "Oh, I had to
Yeah,
go to the something happened. I had to go to the doctor," and it's like, "Oh yeah," and like, what is the big deal? The man can't go to the doctor, but Pete Hegseth can put our troops' safety in jeopardy. He can also um, allegedly commit a war crime or commit an alleged war crime.
black man can't go get a surgery, can't go to the doctors, but Hegseth can, murder potentially, right? And it's fine, and it's just okay because Donald likes him. It's the privilege, the
Did you
double
see all the
standard.
bars? Did you see the bars and all the accomplishments that Lloyd Austin had? Like the man was
Yes.
solid.
Oh, he was a G. And then like reading Woodward's book War, behind the scenes, he was doing real work. Like he was doing so much stuff he wasn't getting credit for. He apparently almost single-handedly stopped nuclear war. Like he walked one of his counterparts in Russia off the ledge. He was doing so much stuff without fanfare. And meanwhile, Hegseth is out here posting Franklin memes of Franklin the turtle with a bazooka, getting into beefs with children books authors. Like it's just the double standard, the stuff we're accepting. I mean, we didn't even get into the Somali stuff. Like it's
That was
just,
so gross.
oh my
That was
god.
so gross. He called Ilhan Omar garbage, and then he brought up that thing about this unsubstantiated urban legend, whatever you want to call it, rumor that she married her brother. There's no evidence to it. It's just gross. And he said that Somalia was a garbage country.
Yeah, and he talked about the whole community. Like just because there was like a very real fraud that happened, about 78 individuals are prosecuted there. That's not 80,000 Somali Minnesotans. That's not the whole community. Right? And he's sitting here doing the definition of xenophobia, blaming an entire community for what individuals did. And I posted about this on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now. And man, you would not believe the replies. I had someone trying to convince me that because I'm not white, even though I was born here, I'm not American because the Constitution says something about posterity, and the word posterity means white. I'm telling you, man, Twitter X is done. They're cooked over there. They're all white nationalists in these replies, and they were believing what he was saying.
You're not an American
I
because
was
you're not white.
I was born here, and he was saying just because I was born here and have citizenship that doesn't make me an American because the Constitution, and was like trying to explain this. I just stopped replying to him. I was like, dude, I'm out. You're crazy. But like people were backing him up in the replies, and I'm like, I need to deactivate my account. Like I didn't know I was at a Klan rally. But point is, like, he has people who believe this shit. He gives these white supremacists a mile or an inch. They take a mile.
You're not an American because you. Or is this basically he's saying you're not white?
Yeah, literally, he screenshot. I have it right here.
You're
He
not
screenshot.
Christian. I don't even know. Are you Christian? Are you Muslim? I had no idea.
I'm not. I'm neither. I'm just a guy who's living his life, and they out here saying. And he said, because of my name, he said first his reply was like, oh, he said we need to get rid of the Ahmed Babas, and I was like, he said you got to leave. I was like, oh, I was like, I was born here, loser, and I out of character just kind of shit talked him a little bit. Yeah, and then he replied and basically put me a whole thing telling me that the Constitution was written with white people in mind, and that
Yeah.
therefore everything else that came after all those rights were invalid.
Well, what he's saying is that you're not a white Christian. And let me just break it down to you. That's what he's saying. And so that's the Ahmed Babas of the world. He thinks that you are, a, excuse me, a terrible foreign terrorist. That's basically what he's saying.
Basically, what he's saying. Yeah, just great casual
You
conversation.
have to tell you that, right?
Oh, dude, I get that every single day, and it's fine. It's just casual Twitter replies with fans. It's great.
Why are you on there?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's good distribution sometimes. But like you're not on there anymore, right?
I'm not on there anymore. I understand, but especially if you're in the business and you do commentary, you're a journalist, you're in the media, like you need that. Even if you're in politics, you need that because it's a great way that you can push stuff out and it gets lots of attention and people see your message. But it is toxic.
It is toxic. Luckily, I don't take it like personally. I just kind of laugh it off because it's like I just know you're some dude like in a basement that's like angrily tweeting about how some person on the internet shouldn't be here, and I'm sure you probably have like black friends secretly, or like you're just hiding this. Like it's just these sock puppet accounts. Like they don't even have avis or photos.
As black friends, he probably has a trans girlfriend, but he doesn't bring her publicly so people
Oh
can
yeah,
see it. Or
totally
he's
a person.
secretly gay, right? And he
Yeah,
has like, he like is on Grinder visiting dudes, like something like it's usually something crazy.
something like that. But honestly, I
Yeah.
want to take the topic off him before you go. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
No, I was gonna say like the New Year's Eve thing, man. I was gonna tell you like you gotta do that on your own, and then I saw it pop up, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's gonna be a vibe. That's gonna be fun.
Come to New Orleans. Come to New Orleans. Come on down, man.
I'm gonna come through.
I know you're gonna at least be watching.
Oh, I'm gonna
You
tune
have to
in.
be fun. You have to let loose. If you
I'm
don't
gonna let
if
loose.
you don't let loose, then you can't be a part of the elimination on New Year's Eve.
Oh,
You gotta be
dude.
like, it's
I
about
turn up. I turn up, man. I don't drink anymore, but I still turn the hell up. You should have seen me at my wedding. I was going wild. Like
you didn't drink at your wedding?
no, but I was still dancing to No Hands. I was still dancing to Drake. I was still vibing out of the wedding. But
You
like
can't. No gummies, no nothing.
not at the wedding, no. We were too busy trying to keep everything on schedule. But yeah, man, the New Year's Eve thing. You just going out there with the? Are you just gonna go out there streaming from? Where are you streaming from?
New Orleans.
Like, are you gonna be just around the town, or you got a central location, or like?
Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal: is the block party on Frenchman Street. So, I love the quarter. The quarter is for people who are not from not from New Orleans. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
get me wrong; it's historic. But people who really party for New Year's Eve or anyway, they go to the Marigny and they go to Frenchman Street.
Nice.
And so that's for the name. So I'm having a New Orleans New Year's Eve. Everybody sees New York every year,
Of
whatever.
course.
But New Orleans is going to take center stage and spotlight on our program. And it's going to be local celebrities. I don't know if you know Big Frida.
Oh, yeah,
we have
yeah.
people from around the country that are going to dial in. Some of my celebrity friends, we're going to have them on. It's just going to be fun. We're going to cook. We're going to have a second line. We're going to dance. We're going to do shots. It's going to be fun.
Good
It's gonna be
shit.
fun.
Good shit,
Yeah.
man.
Marching bands, all kinds of stuff. What is it? The hottest party in New Orleans is
No, I'm telling you, you're gonna have so many
marching bands, midgets.
You're gonna have so many people tune in. Like my friends who watched our streams, like one of the number one questions I've gotten before you did the thing was like, tell Don to do his own New Year's Eve thing, and you did it, man. You did it.
Do you
No
think
one's got to
do
even
you
urge
think
you.
they're going to stream it on their phones, right? On their
Yeah,
TVs?
yeah, of
Good.
course. Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. I know I'll be. Everybody will be, man.
All
You
right,
got it.
Ahmed, have a good one. I'll
All
see
right,
you New
bro.
Year's Eve. I'll see you next
Yeah,
week.
yeah. I'll see you next week. Take it easy.